Morning, Cheryl.
Good morning. Good morning, Greg.
How are you?
I'm good.
Looks like it's the two of us so far.
Let me max it. I can't maximize the screen. There we go. Yes, it does. Oh, I like your Santa.
Oh, is that still on there? I forgot about that. Oh, yes. I have my little screen of myself hidden behind another screen. Too many screens. I got 3 screens going today.
Jerry is in the lobby.
Okay. And so is Owen. So let's get them in. Hi, Jerry. Hi, Shannon. Hi, Owen. Welcome.
Hello.
So we're going to be waiting for a few minutes, I think, as we gather our quorum for the meeting today.
I love your background.
Thank you. I forgot that was there until Cheryl pointed out that she liked my background. I'm like, what? Oh, geez.
Hi, sorry about that. I was finishing up a phone call. Adriana's going to be a little late today, but she's coming, and Denise was not sure if she was going to be able to make it or not.
Okay.
And Joanne is not going to be here today.
Let's make sure we have enough for a quorum then.
Hey, Jessica.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of us.
Shannon, did Adriana say about how late?
No.
Okay.
I can text her real quickly and just say.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I wasn't here for the past meetings.
Hey, Kevin.
I was presenting an AT&Me, if you've heard of it.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
That's
So
why
we
I
have.
couldn't. That's why I couldn't,
Oh.
attend these meetings.
All right. Well, welcome, Kevin. Thanks for coming.
Yep.
We're still waiting. I think we need one more person to have a quorum, and then we can get started. So we're hanging on for a minute or two.
So Lauren's saying, since it's the last meeting, we should still have the meeting even if we don't have the quorum.
Okay, I figured we would cover some things as we're sort of allowed to, but let's give a minute or two more. Not much more. It's already 10:06. All right, why don't we get started? I'm going to hold off on anything that requires action from the group. So we'll hold the minutes for the moment, and we can go through some updates so folks know what's going on. And so we can call the meeting to order. I'll go through the public meeting requirements. Meetings of the ARPA Individual and Family Engagement Committee are public meetings as defined by the Connecticut Freedom of Information Act and should follow those guidelines. As this public meeting is held virtually, it will be recorded and made available to view on the DDS website. Committee members must make a good faith effort to state their name and title if applicable. I'm Greg McMahon for DDS. Each time they speak during the meeting. If a committee member would like to speak, please raise your hand and one of the co-chairs will acknowledge you. There's no public comment portion to the meeting. Members of the public are able to join, watch, and listen only. So why don't we jump right in and let Lauren get us started with the communication update. Lauren? Lauren, either perhaps you're stepped away for a second or your mic is off. All right, why don't we move past Lauren's updates and move on to Deloitte's updates? Owen, do you have any updates for the group?
Morning, everybody. Owen Schoen from Deloitte. We don't have a ton to discuss today. I just wanted to give a brief update on technical assistance that we've been providing to providers that are interested in submitting plans. We were able to give a presentation to both the ARC and the Alliance that focused on summaries of STEP plans that have been submitted and approved. both sessions went really well, and we got interest from providers following each and had a bunch of sessions get scheduled. So we've seen an uptick in one-on-one TA in the last couple of weeks. And as we move into the new year, we're kind of shifting our approach to be more topic specific and to make it more of an event rather than the weekly office hours, which have not been as well attended as we would have liked at this point. Overall, I think we're feeling pretty good about interest though. And I think especially once this provider plan summary document is finalized and posted, it'll be a really, really good resource for people that are looking to submit.
This is Greg McMahon from DDS. Thank you, Owen. Do you have what your current number is of approved or pending plans that Deloitte is working with?
Yes. So we have, I believe there are 17 submitted plans and 2 add-ons to existing plans. So I think 19 total submissions. And of those 19, 15 have been approved from my understanding.
Okay, thank you. And I should have had this ready and I don't for the meeting, but I know that we have, if you are taking the total number of people involved in the plans, DDS had a goal of 200 day people participating in transition plans for day and 100 for residential. And those numbers have moved up considerably, putting us at least halfway
Yeah,
or
I
more.
believe for day we're at about 170 out of 200, and residential is about 55%. I forget the exact number.
Yes, so this is Greg McMahon from DDS. So we've done very well in terms of the number of people participating in transition plans. And we are also doing pretty well in allocating the percentage of funds we were given for this effort. In the end, we don't know, will every transition for every individual succeed? Probably not, but we're pretty comfortable that we are on target both financially and in terms of number of people in both sides. And we'd like to see a little more bump up on the residential side, but the incentive programs and getting people to try new things and live more independently we've done well. Okay, thank you, Owen. And welcome, Adriana. We're official. We have our quorum. So thank you. And we are, Adriana, we've just gotten an update from Deloitte. That was the only thing we've done so far. And I think any questions for Owen? I'm sorry, before we move on. All right, this is Greg McMahon from DDS. Hearing no questions, we can move on to Lauren's communication update. Are you back from your screaming 2-year-old?
Yes, she is home with a cold. Like the 12. So I think I have it too. This is Lauren Gray from DDS, and I think the 12 days of holidays are a cold, RSV, COVID gifts. That's not relevant to this meeting, but we're all very sick over here. Again, this is Lauren Gray from DDS, and I just have a couple of communications updates. We are so thankful for all of your review and your input and your collaboration over the last several months since I've been here in January. I just really wanted to say thank you for all of the work you put in, all the feedback you gave us. It really helped me learn so much and really improve our communications from my perspective. And we've gotten so much good feedback. So I did just want to share a couple of new things that are going to be coming out in the new year with this committee. And I know we'll talk about, the future of this committee in a little bit, but I will continue to do this as well. So do not worry. The first things I want to share. We did a really good job launching the first set of the STEP fact sheets, and our next iteration of fact sheets is going to be other supports DDS offers. So we have a fact sheet coming up next year on individual day supports. This is the content. It's not been designed yet, but it will follow the same format as the STEP fact sheets for all of the STEP core supports. What is individualized day supports? What are the benefits? How is it staffed? What are some challenges and how can you learn more? So this is one fact sheet that's coming up, as well as group supported employment. So we're really looking forward to launching these fact sheets on the DDS website to explain more DDS supports. And as soon as those are designed and ready, I'll definitely share with the group members first before they go on the website once they're designed in a more final format, just so you can see them. These have been through extensive review, so we're just very excited to continue launching more fact sheets to help people understand more DDS supports. Also coming in 2024 is our new website. So I'm not going to walk through the entire website, but I do just want to show you what it will look like. The images are not final. These are just draft images right now. This is very much still a testing site, a staging site. It's not ready. But we are working on getting this ready for January 2024. We're about 75% of the way there. And we will be communicating this change before this goes live, probably the second or third week of January. So we have a lot of work to do over the next month. But there is a new website coming. If you're familiar with other agency websites and you want to look at a little bit more and familiarize yourself a little bit more, the Connecticut Department of Labor site, this is how it will eventually look when it's launched. All agencies through Connecticut are upgrading to this new look and feel. So ours is going to be coming up in January, and it's going to look very similar to the Department of Labor site. And on the home page, it'll go through about DDS, STEP, supports and services, eligibility, resources, our self-advocates, and then we're still working on the footer and some more stuff down here. But just know that this is coming in 2024, and we are excited about it, and we've worked on it all year. Did somebody have their hand up? No, okay.
I think we may have something in the chat. I'm just oh no.
Oh, never mind. Okay, I thought I had a notification. But again, we will be sharing that and communicating that before it goes live to prepare people. And we'll make sure everyone knows what's coming up, and that some of the links will be changing. So some of the navigation URLs that you would normally go to will be changing. So we'll have to work on all of that in the new year as well. And another update, so last Thursday, we had our rewarding work webinar, and it is available on our DDS website. If you if you self-direct services, or someone who's interested in self-direction, they can look at this webinar or download the PowerPoint presentation that walked through what rewarding work is, how to use it, and answer some questions. So this is also available on our website, and we are continuing to try to update our social media, as much as we can, at least a couple of times a week. So just make sure, you're following us on social media and looking at a lot of our different items that we're posting. I think I said last but not least, but I actually had one more thing. Also in January, we have the STEP ARPA survey that's coming up. The survey was sent out last year, so some of you may have received it. This will be mailed out to all individuals and families DDS supports. We want feedback on what you think about the STEP initiative. Very honestly, it's an anonymous survey, so your name will not be on the attachment. When you fill out the survey, it is anonymous. So please answer as honestly as possible. Like I said, this will be mailed out to individuals and families. You have the option to return the survey via mail. We pay for postage, so you don't have to worry about that. Or you can fill out the survey online through a survey link. So this will be coming out in January, and we'll also be communicating about this, but just wanted to give this committee a heads up as well. So this will be coming out in January too. Yes, Greg.
This is Greg McMahon from DDS. Just to add a little more to that, the survey is mostly a duplicate of the survey that was sent out a year ago. But that was sent to individuals and families who were living or working in congregate settings. So it didn't go out to everybody. But this survey will be going out to everybody. There'll be some sort of mechanism to separate those that it went to last time from those who didn't get it last time, because we do want to compare the results of the two surveys. So if you didn't receive it last time, you should be receiving it this time. And it's just so that we can get the opinions of those that weren't surveyed before. So don't be surprised if it's the first time you've seen it, if you didn't have a loved one in a congregate setting prior to this. And Lauren, I have one other question on the, it's kind of related to the website. We have our texting set up to notify people via text of up and coming events and changes. It's going to be done quarterly. Are we at a point where we're ready to send, or getting near the time to send it quarterly? And will that include some of these updates for the
Yes.
opportunity to see these?
So I was going to send it last week, but the rewarding work stuff wasn't quite ready. And now that it is, I'm hoping to send out, oh, this is Lauren Gray from DDS. I'm hoping to send out a text message this week with a lot of these updates. It'll link to an update from the website on our website with some updated links now that I have all the information from rewarding work and a little bit of a better timeline for the website. So I'm really hoping to get that text message out this week.
Thank you. This is Greg McMahon from DDS. Anything else, Lauren?
I think that's it. I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has any questions, but like I said, we're really trying to work on the website and finalizing a bunch of stuff to get ready to launch in January. So we're just moving on.
Okay, this is Greg McMahon from DDS. Thank you, Lauren. The next agenda item is a review of the questions for a future fact sheet in regard to the wait list. Those who were able to attend the last meeting know we had Tammy Benegay come on and give an overview of the wait list. And from that, I took some of the major topics and questions that I thought families might want to know and put them together. And I'm going to show them to you guys and take a look at them. And if what I'm looking for really is, are there other questions that families might have or that you have that aren't answered? So let me see if I succeed. So hopefully you see the screen share. But these are the questions that kind of thinking families might want to know. One is, what is the wait list?
Greg, this is Shannon Jacobino, DDS ombudsperson. Can you enlarge that a little bit so the print is bigger?
I should be able to. I'm working on 2 screens. I'm not very good at that, but let's see.
I hear
There
you.
we go.
There you go. Okay, that's much better. There you go.
So the questions are, what are the wait list? Why there's a wait list? We anticipate the answers to that will include the emergency description, or the fact that people are emergencies on the wait list. So the third question is, what does it take to be considered an E? How are decisions made about who's on the wait list? Anticipating that we'll probably get in a little bit of the mechanics of Pratt in the answer to that question. How do you get on the wait list? What if you don't agree with the decision, if you've requested that you be put on the wait list? And then once on the wait list, how do you get support? So those are the questions. I have begun trying to draft some of the answers to that, but they're very incomplete. So we're not there yet. But these were the questions that, like I said, I thought about. Shannon and I have reviewed them. We've begun to share them with Krista Ostrowski, who is oversees overall the waivers and the waitlist information. So looking for feedback and looking for if I've missed something that people really think they want to know about the waitlist. Any thoughts on that from the group?
Speak now or forever. This is Shannon Jacobino, the DDS ombudsperson. You know, speak now or forever hold your peace, because this is, you know, I think going to be a big one for individuals and families. And we want to make sure that we're not missing any of the questions that you might have had about the wait list, or if you're an advocate and you're working with individuals and families, or, you know, you case manager, the questions that they've asked you. So, you know, if you don't think of anything right now, if you can send me an email to let me know, that would be good, because we are going to be working on this.
This is Greg McMahon from DDS. I think that, like I said, we do have sort of rough draft answers to these questions, and we're working. This is it's a somewhat sensitive topic in a way to answer, because a lot of what we answer has to do whether or not we have funding. So we can't necessarily put guarantees of funding answers into a fact sheet. So it requires very careful wording, and we'll be working with Krista on that. And as it moves forward, this will move on and back for review with the committee that will be formed following this meeting.
This is Shannon Jacobino, DDS ombudsperson. Jessica has her hand raised.
Hi, Jessica Sundell, Supervisor of Case Management for DDS. So it's kind of hard to think of the questions without knowing how these would potentially be answered. But I think one of the things that families would like to know is, when there is funding available relative to initiatives, how that funding is, like how we identify who receives that funding, you know, meaning that they're targeting the urgent list versus future needs. So something to that end, the way that, you know, and it could be probably incorporated in one of the answers that you're already coming up with, but I just think that that's a question that we get often. I think even case managers struggle to understand some of that. That's it.
This is Shannon Jacobino, DDS ombudsperson. Can you help me phrase that, Jessica? I just want to make sure I'm getting it right. So if you can walk through the question again, I want to make sure I'm getting it.
It's not really I don't really have a question in my head so much as I have more of like an answer, right? So when funding, when there is funding and there are initiatives that are developed, that they don't look, in my understanding of it, and again, this is probably a DDS thing where maybe even internally we don't fully understand, but that they're looking at individuals who are on the urgent list versus emergency or future needs, right? Emergency, the person's an emergency and would receive funding for whatever placement was needed. But when there's funding available, that my understanding again is that it targets the people who are on the urgent list and not future needs, which I think a lot of people think that because you're on the future needs list, that at some point you could potentially be offered funding. But to date, I haven't seen that happen. And anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I just think that that's not actually a list that's targeted when there's initiatives available.
Okay.
Get it? So it's more of an
Yes, I
answer,
do.
but I'm
I
just
do.
like
Now I
thinking that they would
understand.
want to know
Yes.
that. All right.
I do. I
Mm.
understand that.
So this is Greg McMahon from DDS. As I went through some of the questions, I actually had one down about is being considered an emergency the only way to be supported? And in reviewing that question with Krista, there's, we have to figure out whether we can really answer that because an initiative could come and go very quickly and we can't really list. And if we try listing initiatives like funding for elder caregivers or the ability to support somebody in a CCH, and then the budget gets cut, then we have an inaccurate fact sheet. So we're working on whether and how to include language that relates to the special initiatives that sometimes can support people with funding. So that is part of the discussion we'll be having about kind of can we and how do we answer questions about initiatives that are potentially temporary and funded for only short periods of time.
This is Shannon Jacobino, DDS ombudsperson. I mean, I wasn't aware that there were initiatives until after I became the ombudsperson. And so I think just understanding that happens without saying what the initiatives are might be helpful information. But again, I think it's really tricky in how we communicate that because we don't want to give people information that leads them to believe something that, that they might be eligible for something that they're not. And so I think the whole concept of the initiatives is something I think most families don't know about unless they've been approached by a case manager or somebody who's telling them that there could potentially be funding available.
Well, this is Greg McMahon for DDS, but thank you, Jessica, for the question. It's one we're mulling and trying to figure out. Are there other questions or feedback from other members of the group? Did my screen share go away?
This is Shannon Jacobino, DDS ombudsperson. It hasn't gone away, no.
Okay. Okay, as this is Greg McMahon from DDS, as Shannon said, give some thought to this, and if you have any questions, please forward them to Shannon to be included. This will come up with the makeup of the new committee. This will end up coming back there and for further discussion. So it's important we get your input. Okay. The next agenda item is the post-ARPA individual and family engagement group. And this is going to be led by Cheryl, Dr. Ellis, and Shannon. You're up, folks.
All right, so this is Shannon Jacobino, DDS ombudsperson. Cheryl, if you want, maybe I'll do the overview and then, fill in any gaps and help me answer any questions that come up. So we discussed this in a previous meeting. I think, like Lauren said, I think the work that this group has done in terms of being able to improve communications, identifying, issues and questions people in our community have, sort of simplifying language that we use when we're communicating with families, recommendations on how to better organize information or use different platforms. I mean, a lot of great information has come from this group. And Lauren, I just want to acknowledge, what a great partner you have been in carrying out the recommendations of this group. But I think it's become really valuable, and that is recognized by the communications department and by the leadership at DDS. And so, Cheryl and I got together and we talked about how to continue this work by having a post-ARPA individual and family engagement group. It would be different from this in that it wouldn't be a public group. Cheryl and I have created an outline that I wanted to kind of go through with you in terms of what the group would look like. But as Greg said, Cheryl and I will be chairing the group. We are going to invite Lauren to attend all of the meetings so that she can continue to give communications updates and get information from the group about communications. And so that'll be a regular item on the agenda, communications update, input, and information for stakeholders to kind of share with the people you communicate with. Another regular item on the agenda would be getting information from people who are in the group, stakeholders who are in the group, on sort of questions and issues that you and they might be hearing about out in the community, questions and issues that individuals and families are raising, if there's any topics we need to be thinking about or addressing or discussing or bringing to the attention to leadership. Another really important regular agenda item will be something that we've talked a lot about in this group, but haven't really, I think, begun to sort of figure out through this process, which is outreach to underrepresented stakeholders. That is a huge priority for Cheryl as the DEI director, and it's a huge priority for me as the ombudsperson. And Cheryl is doing some exciting things to, I think, help to start the process of, reaching out into the community and building those relationships and understanding what we need to do. But that'll be a regular item on the agenda. And Cheryl, maybe you might want to talk about that after we go through the outline. And then in this group, I think one of the things that we have done that's been really helpful is to, when it's needed, we've brought content experts in to discuss things like the waiting list and, assistive technology and various different kinds of supports. And so, we would continue to do that in the group. Makeup of the group would be anybody from this group who wants to continue. So if you want to remain a part of these discussions, you can either reach out to me directly via email, you can put it in the chat, but please let me know if you want to continue to be a part of these discussions. But we're also going to expand the discussion by reaching out to advocacy groups that are, I see you, Adriana, thank you. Advocacy groups that are, engaged with individuals and families. So, Connecticut Family Support Network, the ARC, Families First. We have a list of groups that include those organizations and others. If you think that there's a group that is out there working with individuals and families, that we need to invite to be a part of the discussion. I see you too, Jerry. Then please let me know and we will include people in that discussions. The plan is to meet bi-monthly, so every other month. And we haven't set a schedule for those meetings yet, but I guess I'll ask this group if you like this time frame, for like Adriana and Jerry who would like to continue. Has this time frame worked for you? Is it something we should think about moving forward as we're scheduling our meetings for the upcoming year? Okay. So Jerry, that works for you. And how about you, Adriana? Okay, so it's been fine with you guys. If there's anybody else in the group, whether or not, like DDS staff, self-advocates, anybody who wants to continue to be a part of these discussions, I mean, your help and your guidance has been really important. So we'd love to have you continue. So, if you're not really sure, but you think you might, just reach out to me and let me know, and I'll put your name on the list. Cheryl, have I missed anything, or is there any other information you want? Oh, thank you, Jessica.
I think you covered everything, Shannon.
All right. Does anybody have any questions? All right, so this will be our last meeting for this group. We're hoping to maybe pick back up in January, and we will get out to, I've heard from Jessica, Adriana, and Jerry that they'd like to continue. Anybody else who thinks they might want to, just please email me as soon as possible, and I'll make sure that we get the schedule of meetings out to you as soon as we have that done. Okay? All right, I think that's it.
Hey, this is Greg McMahon from DDS. I'd like to move back to the top of the agenda. We have the full quorum now, and we need to work approve the minutes, hopefully. So if we can move back to that, and everybody should have hopefully had an opportunity to review the minutes. Shannon sent them along with the agenda. Are there any comments, questions, concerns about the agenda? And I see Jerry has her hand up. Jerry?
I was just going to make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Okay, so moved. Do I have a second?
Jessica Sundell, DDS. I second the motion.
Okay, thank you. This is Greg McMahon from DDS. So all those in favor of approving the minutes from the previous meeting, raise your hand or say aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Okay, hearing none, the minutes are approved. Thank you. And this is Greg McMahon from DDS. And the last agenda item is closing the committee. We don't have a next meeting date on the agenda because that's to be determined with the new group. And I would just like to take the opportunity to thank you all for kind of working with us and being active and engaged in what we do. I know it's been said a couple times today, but this group has really created a focus that I think is important for the department. And we've, in my time here, I've never seen communication that has been as focused and as clear for individuals and families of what we've done. And as part of the larger ARPA initiative, as I mentioned earlier, there's been tremendous growth. And the system is changing more and more quickly and in a really positive direction because of the group your work along with the rest of the people working on ARPA as well. So I want to just take the opportunity to thank you all for being a part of this, being engaged, and for continuing. For those of you who are going to continue on with the effort, it's much appreciated. So thank you for your time and your good work.
Yeah, this is Shannon Giacovino, DDS ombudsperson. I want to just echo everything Greg said. And, you know, after having been an advocate for so many years, and really trying to elevate the voice of individuals and families, like I firmly believe that everything works better when there's a true partnership between all of the stakeholders, and that, you know, individuals and families, being a regular part of the discussion about what happens around supports and what happens in people's lives is so critical, because really everything that we have in our system really comes through the advocacy of individuals and families who have had a vision for how to make their loved ones' lives better. And so it's always been a huge priority of mine to make sure that what we've done here is a regular part of the process for DDS. And so I'm really excited about the work that we've already done. And I'm really excited to be working with those of you who are going to work with us moving forward, because I think it's really important. And I do want to say again how excited I am about the changes in the communication department, because really, without your partnership, this work wouldn't have been as important as it was to the STEP process, and I think to everything DDS does moving forward. So, you know, thank all of you, and thank you, Lauren, for the work that you've done.
This is Lauren Gray from DDS. I just want to say thank you to Shannon and Greg for your leadership over the last years. I only joined DDS in February, but I know y'all been working much longer than that. So thank you for your leadership and your advocacy and your guidance. You guys have been really awesome to work with.
Thank you, Lauren. Jerry has her hand up.
Yes, hi, Jerry Kogut, parent and representative Mid-State ARC. I just want to first of all thank Greg and Shannon for all your work putting all these meetings together and reaching out to all of us and making sure we have information. But also as a parent, and my son who's 35, for years now, I've been a part of something, you know, with advocacy. So this has really been an informative and exciting year working on this, and I'm really happy it's going to continue going forward. So thank you, and thank the whole committee.
This is Greg McMahon from DDS. Thank you, Jerry. So I don't believe we have any other business, and that concludes the work of our committee. As many of you know, my last day is tomorrow. So I will be turning over the reins of this good committee and the great work that you do to capable hands. So again, thank you all very much. And with that, I entertain a motion to adjourn. We just want to keep going.
Sherry?
Hi, this is Jerry Kogut, parent and representative Mid-State ARC. I make a motion to adjourn this meeting, and good luck, Greg. And thank you.
I second that.
Oh, there you go. I second it too. I third it, I guess. And congratulations, Greg. Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you. So all those in favor of adjourning? All right.
Bye,
Thank you
everyone.
all very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.